Okay, so this is Jonathan Marr, as always, with Hometown Historian channel. This is a excuse me, a Country Roads Take Me Home / vlog. So this is vlogs Take Me Home. I just wanted to give an update on the channel, a little bit of an update on me, some of the interesting events that have happened. I'm actually heading over to the post office in Annville, just because its timing works out to do it first thing in the morning, and I figured do a quick video this way. It's pretty simple and easy and all that. Up here on the left is one of these cool country churches. Attempted to do a little bit of research on it, find out a little bit more, but it's just one of those pretty little brick country churches. Pretty Mountville UC, it's probably United Church of Christ, I guess, or I might have read that wrong. And then the cemetery is actually down a little ways here, so I would assume the original church was probably down here a little further, because there are some stones in the back there that are pretty old. I don't think they're quite Revolutionary War, but there is stuff there that at least is Civil War. But we might stop by there sometime. I'll do a little bit of research on it. A lot of those small churches, sometimes there isn't a whole lot of history out there, but yeah, I just think it's one of those, they got that unique look to them. And then when you have the stained glass windows there as well, they're just, you wonder about what all the history was. But anywho, so I'll quick get me out of the way. So in general, I'm starting to feel better. The shocker that happened, a couple of you are friends with me on Facebook, so you was seeing this, and part of it was, you know, you go through something like this for this coming up on 3 years now, where you're sort of dealing with infection on and off. There's a part of you that just gets really tired, and you know, sometimes it's hard to see the positives. Like, the positives are there, it's going to work out and everything, but it seems like sometimes you go to the hospital, they just want to hack things off, and that would definitely not be in my preference. I had gone in, I was on clindamycin. I can never say that correctly, and they get mad at me. But I was on clindamycin, which is an antibiotic again, because I had gotten some infections in both feet, and like I explained, I had a couple, they call them ulcers, I guess is the best way, open wounds that I had on my feet, one on the right, and then 3 originally, and then a 4th one developed, which is really small and is already healing on the left foot, because the left foot's the problem. That's the one that I had the amputation on. And anyways, that one, the 3 small ones are actually healing quite well. The right foot, the infection is definitely out, and that's starting to heal. It actually, originally I talked about they're going to have to do like a debridement, which means they have to clean up around the wound just to sort of level off the skin so it can actually grow back across the ulcer of the wound. And that's actually done that itself, so that's a really good sign from having gone through this for as long as I have, how these things heal. The concerning one on the left is the big one on the left side of the foot. And I went in to get my refill of clindamycin because I figured I need to do this for another 10 days just to get this completely out of my system in the left foot. And here they had canceled the order. And so I wound up calling them, and they said ultimately the doctor isn't happy with how this isn't healing, which a lot of that has to do with me being on my feet, and now that I've taken the steps of quitting my job, to make sure that this doesn't continue, because that's the reason I'm not healing, is because I was on my feet way too much. And the healing's already beginning quite quickly. So my preference would have been that I could have wound out doing that second 10 days. As much as I hate the clindamycin, it does work. Unfortunately, they decided, which maybe it'll be fortunately and it'll be a quicker result, they want me to go to a wound specialist or a wound care center. The problem is, this particular wound care center, they have a habit of not calling you back, which is what's happening. And I'd sort of like to get this out of the way and get them on it. I guess my fear when I put my thing up on Facebook is that it's just going to wind up being, oh, we got to take your left leg. It's not near as ugly as it was when a number of the other times I got osteomyelitis and stuff like that. I don't think I've got anything like that. It feels more like the normal cellulitis, which is infection of the skin and that type of thing. But it's still, it's one of those fears. Like, I don't want to have to go through the recuperation process again. So a little downer there. I'm just hoping that today I can finally get through to them, that they'll actually either answer their phones or they'll call me back. Because otherwise, at some point, if this doesn't start getting better, I'm going to have to go to the hospital, and then goodness knows what they're going to do from there. Which is, I guess, is disappointing, because you feel like you're starting to do better, and you've taken a risk by quitting your job, which it was a risk working the job, which I think it was way worse continuing just because of what was going on. But it's still sort of like, it's sort of a slap in the face psychologically to, think, okay, things are getting better, and I'm starting to be able to film again, and just sort of hopefully get things together, get a couple of these things that need to be solved, and then move forward, and then start looking at some point being able to find a job that fits and just go from there. And unfortunately, this is just it just seems to happen over and over again with this thing. I'm just looking forward to the day where I don't have to worry about this type of stuff, because I'll tell you what, after the surgery, when they closed everything up, I had like the three or 4 months where I wasn't dealing with ulcers. That was as hard as it was going through the process of just being like physically beat and all that. You just didn't have that over you, and I'm just sort of, so hopes, prayers, and positive vibes and all that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it that I can get through this, and this stuff can heal, and I can finally move forward, because that's the big one. And then I can start looking at some of these other things that I need to do for my back and the shoe, hopefully, and then they can do something with the foot. But anyways, that's where we're at physically. So that's, I've explained in a couple of the videos, I'm really taking it easy right now, because I'm starting to be able to walk a little bit better, but I'm using the cane again just for balance, and just because of the pain that I get in my left foot right now, because I have a lot of swelling. It's more edema than like infection or anything like that, so I'm starting to take some natural diuretics, so that should help as well. Excuse me. And with that, so sort of some of the plans, like today, I'm not sure, like this is going to be the video for today, for Friday, July 1st. I'm hoping I can wind out getting out to, I want to go over to Memorial Lake again. I had promised that I'd try to go down there, and it highly depends upon whether I can, if the path is good enough that I can go down to the bottom of the dam there at Memorial Lake. I have to look back at what the gentleman's name was. He said he enjoys dams so much, and I said I want to go back. Like, I know Marquette Lake, it's not going to matter, because where the dam is on the other side, where you can actually view the dam, is PennDOT Training Center, so it's all gated off, so you can't see. But the Memorial Lake Dam, that I can get down, I'm hoping. So I'd like to go over there and get that taken care of. do a video there. I also have the Conrad Weiser Pennsylvania Historic Marker that I can do. I had the Tulpehocken Path Pennsylvania Historic Marker, as well as Lebanon County, which that's the next one I want to try to get out, because I have quite a bit planned for that video. And then probably going to go out and do St. Luke's Episcopal Church as the third of the hometown historic churches. And I'd like to do, Colleen had done a bunch of picture work and traveled out to Carol Bucks, who's, I believe, the writer of The Good Earth, for our hometown heroine, or heroines of hometown history. And then I have a Tales of Hometown History that I'd like to do as well. So we'll see what happens there, but that's what's planned. It's nothing like incredibly special, but it'll be stuff that'll be interesting, be fun, enjoyable, and it's stuff that just physically right now is easier on me. But as I improve, hopefully, then we'll start getting back into some other stuff. I gotta get together with Jared to get a little more information on the Lebanon movie theaters, because that's the next one I want to do. I want to do a series on movie theaters and sort of, community centers, that type of thing, bowling alleys, racetracks, different things of that nature that have a lot of meaning for people. But that's the first one, because Lebanon has an extraordinary history of these really amazing theaters from back in the golden age of film. And they're just those really beautiful theaters that don't exist anymore, beyond the Allen Theater in Annville, which I want to try to visit that so we can actually see inside. And another thing I'd like to do with the hometown historic churches is I'd like to revisit a lot of these churches, but I'd like to revisit the inside. See if we can get permission to go inside and do some filming and maybe have them talk about the history of the church, the actual pastors and that type of stuff. So alright, so I'm gonna quick stop here, and then we will get going again, because we're coming into Annville here at Lebanon Valley College to the post office, and I don't want to seem like a freak filming with my phone and get pulled over. So we'll see you here in a second. Alright, so we're back. We just left Annville and we're heading back over to, I gotta head to my storage unit because I want to grab a couple things and list them on eBay. But so that's the basic plans for the channel upcoming. There are this series that I want to do with my nephew about military history and visiting different places like that. I do want to start that off with going back to Indiantown Gap and revisiting where they have all the tanks and helicopters. They have a big transport plane that I'd like to visit that, a jet and a missile that they have in front of the National Guard headquarters for Pennsylvania. So it just depends on, like, right now Indiantown Gap's doing some kind of I'm not sure what it is exactly, but they're doing some kind of construction that supposedly, I guess, via Department of Defense regulations after 2001, military bases are supposed to be, I guess, closed off. So I don't know if that means they're gating off the main road, Fisher Avenue, that you can no longer go through that area, or if they're gating something else off. I really just don't know. But if they're doing that, they're actually gating off the entire thing. That military display that they have there is not going to be something that we're going to be able to visit at some point, or else they'll move it to where, I guess, they have a National Guard museum that's somewhere there that they're going to have, the public will have access to, but actually driving through there where the airfield and all that is no longer going to be possible. So I'm not really sure what it exactly means. When I go do the Memorial Lake video, I'll have a better idea, but it sort of stinks because I remember going through there, my whole childhood and stuff like that, and since then, and it's sort of winds is a little screwy too, because it's a major transport way that people go through, so I'm not quite sure how exactly that's going to work, but I understand the regulations and all that stuff that has to happen, but it just sort of came out of nowhere. So I don't know if it just they finally got funding for it or what happened, but anyways, that's something that I'd like to do at some point as well. I mean, once again, some of these things are, you know, in the here and now, the immediate future of the channel. I am happy that I'm been able to get a video out every single day. Knock on Chuck. Hopefully that's able to continue, because there's so much out there. It's just a matter of me being able to get out and film and do that kind of stuff. And like I said, it's a little difficult, but I am trying to stay off my feet as much as possible, because, you know, the major reason for that is to try not to continue to mess with these feet and just allow them to just heal. Because the sooner they heal, the better off I'm going to be, and the better I'll feel, and the sooner I'll be on my road to recover, like true road to recovery. Because I think the possibility is there, because it's sort of like in the vlog that I did when they sort of discussed with me, which they had discussed with me back when I had the surgery, but I don't think you have a full, because I'd never gone through a major surgery, and you're thinking, oh, it's 2 toes. You know, yeah, you have your metatarsals that are gone with the bones in the center of your foot, but you don't realize how much it actually is going to change the way you walk, the way you're able to move, what you're able to actually do. And then you start coming to the realization of how much damage the sepsis and the osteomyelitis, you know, 4 or 5 times in a year and a half month or year and a half period, how much damage that did to you, how much wear and tear on your body, the surgery itself. You know, it's not something you just come back from, and then trying to go to work and doing something that was physically intensive probably was not the best idea. So, you know, when they start telling you, you know, I'm not at a stage where, like, I'm afraid to die. Like, as morbid as it sounds, if they came to me and they said, John, you have, you know, inoperable cancer, it's terminal, you know, I want enough time to set my affairs in order and get that stuff taken care of. But, you know, I wouldn't be happy about it, but I can make my peace with it. I've lived long enough, and I think when you've struggled like this too, you're sort of like, I know I'm going to a better place, and that type of stuff. Not that that's going to happen, but when somebody starts telling you about, yeah, your life expectancy, you might have 60 to 65, you know, and that's, once again, that's if I can't get my health sorted. So if I continue down the path that I'm going right now, that's where I would be, which isn't shocking to me at all, because it's sort of what I assume. But when you hear professionals talking to you about that, and that, it was just sort of, I think in a way, it's a little bit of a, you know, a push in the right direction to say, hey, let's get this solved, because then you can have a full and as healthy as possible life. You know, once again, whether that's fully possible or whether I'll ever be fully healthy again, I don't really know what's possible or not in that regard. I mean, I think anything is possible, but it's a challenge. So it's just sort of where we're at, and it's the biggest thing for me is getting these things solved that need to be solved. So we're back. My battery sort of died there just as I was talking about that, you know, needing to get the health problems solved that need to be solved. And but anyways, so yeah, I think overall we're heading in the right direction. It's just one of those things that you just have to be really, really careful with and smart with, and who knows what'll happen. So, but channel is going to continue to do well. Hopefully you can continue to have videos out every single day, some kind of content. And like I said before, as I get healthier and healthier and able to handle more and more, I do want to put, like, I have an Instagram. I do a lot of pictures with that. I have a Facebook page for the channel, so I want to do some content for that as well, just sort of across the different social media platforms. Not really sure I'm going to try to do any kind of social media stuff beyond those three, because I just sort of think that's sufficient. It's just how I feel about it. I don't really care for TikTok. If that's your thing, no offense. I just sort of, I don't know. I don't really think what I do fits with what TikTok platform actually is meant for. So I think we're in the right place that we need to be and all that, and it's just a matter of continuing to get content out there and being consistent and going from there. We're almost up at 700 subscribers, so I want to say a thank you to Cliff, the last video where we found whatever that vehicle was, which people have said several different things. It doesn't sound like it was a Model T. It sounds like more, it could have been like an International, a Dodge, or a Chevy, just because of certain things that were on it that didn't fit with how the Model T frame and parts would have been. So whatever it was, but it was cool. I didn't realize Cliff put up my channel, because all of a sudden the channel jumped like 30 subscribers. So thank you to all the new subscribers. I want to say thank you to Colleen. Before I end, I'll quick stop and show you her card. I also want to say thank you once again to Sam and Carol for another gift that you sent. I really do appreciate it. That kind of stuff really helps, especially like right now, as I sort of am trying to get back on my feet. So it is what it is. I was able to get over to the storage unit. I'm not sure if the camera cut off before I said that that's where I was heading, because I got a bunch of comics and things like that I'm going to sell on eBay just to get an influx of cash, and hopefully maybe I can actually get through to my buddies over at the unemployment office and maybe get this resolved, because that's a nice chunk of change, and that would actually solve a lot of my problems right there. That's one of the issues I just sort of want to get solved and taken care of before whatever happens with the foot and the wounds and all that kind of stuff, because I just like to have that out of the way. But anyways, yeah, overall I think we're doing well. You know, it's just, it's a little disconcerting, and sometimes you just sort of hit that low point, because you sort of get hit with the same stuff over and over again, and you're just like, is this ever going to end? And that's just sort of, I don't care who you are, we're all human. You just get to a stage where you're sort of like, I want to have a good attitude, I want to have a positive attitude, so on and so forth, but it's just sort of, you reach a point where you're just like, not again. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so I want to say thanks to Jay too. I really appreciate the comment that you made. That meant a lot to me, and all of you. You guys are awesome. So you give yourselves a pat on the back, and I say it a lot, but I wouldn't have made it through this, you know, what I've gone through so far, and I won't make it through it without you guys, because there's a road to hoe yet here, and you guys have been amazing. You really truly are the pinnacle of humanity. You guys are the best. I really am fortunate. And in response as well, I had a couple people mention about the audio. This phone does have the habit of being a little bit of a stinker at times, and it just doesn't pick up the audio. Now that I truly have the time, I do want to break that camera out. I got to get the SD card in it before I can start filming, and then I'm going to play around with it and get that going, because I think that's ultimately the best way, because that has the system to pick up the audio appropriately. And then that'll be a step forward for the channel as well, and then we'll go from there. But so yeah, this is another Country Roads Take Me Home. We're almost out to the Steelstown area, actually. Belgrove would be what the region is we're coming up on here. But a lot of good memories there, a lot of sad memories, but it's a shame they're taking out. I had done some pictures on Instagram. It's an ugly bridge, but it's one of those old stone bridges that there aren't a ton of them left. They're actually tearing that down, which is a shame, out there in Signer. And so that'll be one less of those bridges that exist. I mean, I understand why they're doing it, because of the flooding, and it's just not safe the way the approach to the bridge. You can't see very well, so it is, unfortunately, you know, when they made stuff like that back in the 1800s, they weren't thinking ahead to, you know, they didn't even have the automobile yet at that stage. So, you know, it is what it is. We utilized that bridge for a long time, and it just came to the end. It just, you wish that there's a way of preserving it, but I guess just with the way the land is and stuff like that, there's no way in that regard, because they are, in a lot of ways, the government's a lot more cognizant of trying to preserve things like that because of their meaning and all that. But there are times as well, though, that unfortunately, to just make things safer and all that, it just unfortunately has to go. I'm hoping they do preserve the stone and could potentially use it for a project, like a public works project that would be like a walking bridge or something like that. I don't know if that's even possible, but it'd be cool if they could do something like that. I'm just not sure, like, the expense, if it would justify being able to do that. But anyways, I just want to say thank you. As always, it really is another cool little adventure we can go on. Is just sort of a drive to take care of some tasks, but it also takes care of a vlog and makes it a little more interesting than just looking at my ugly mug. But as always, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys, the time that you guys give me to come along on these adventures, and we will see you, as always, about town. And I will show that card on the next vlog. It's just where I'm at right now. It's just not safe to be able to do it. So we'll do that on the next vlog. And once again, thank you to Colleen. Thank you to Sam and Carol for their gift again. And I do say another thank you specifically to Kate, to Robbie, to Colleen, to Angela, to Cheryl. I hadn't mentioned Cheryl and Angela. Angela texts me quite a bit, and Cheryl keeps in constant contact. Cheryl is the one who just started the channel Sun Plus One, and she's, you know, so many of you have offered to talk. And I also want to say thank you to Kim. He as well, he contacts me pretty regularly and is like, you know, anytime you want to talk. So I mean, that means a lot, because I'll probably want y'all taking you guys up on that, because it's just one of those things, like, sometimes you just need to get stuff off your chest, and the videos like this, it helps to do that. It's a way of healing and talking to you guys, because I really do consider you my family now. Yeah, it's a journey. And sometimes you wonder, is this journey ever going to end well? And I believe it will. It's just, sometimes it's hard to see that when you're going sort of through the crucible, and you think, I don't know if I have the strength to do it, but I know I do. And it is, you know, a journey is so much better taken with friends, because sometimes we think we're alone, and then if you just take a moment to pause, to look aside of you and look behind you, the people that are coming along with you and supporting you, and you realize this is doable. And thank you for coming along with me on that journey, this journey that we're going through right now. And as always, we'll go out there searching for some more hometown history, and I'm sure we'll find it, because there's a ton out there. And as always, we will see you all about town. Thanks, everybody.